I'm doing this live because it's the easiest way, right? It's the easiest way. I'm so happy that I have access to my live, yo. All right, so I did a writing, and this is in regards to you'll find out. So we're approaching the Taurus full moon, total lunar eclipse. We had a recent Taurus meteor shower in the last 48 hours. Personally, I experienced a lunation cycle for myself a little over a week ago. And I've had a healing event as a result of 800-656 HOPE, which, by the way, is the National Sexual Assault Hotline, if anyone wanted to know. Okay. Um, I've demonstrated how I use celestial movement for healing, right? So in the video Mama 2 months ago, I had learned about my kid's birth chart. Just a reminder, I showed you when I prayed for it, and yeah, that's him. My absence did in fact help them um, enhance. Oh, I made a grammatical error. My absence did in fact help them actualize a part of their purpose experience on Earth with their Saturn placements. Wink, fucking wink. Um, so I suggest that during certain celestial movements, you do healing instead of spell work against another. Not saying anybody's doing that to me, just saying. Because it's definitely a topic, right? It's always a topic in the spiritual community, using the moon cycles to do spell work. There'll never be anything more beneficial than doing healing during uh, moon phases. Just saying. Um, so, the last 2 weeks I've been doing a lot of crying, a lot of analyzing. And I would like to share some of the things that I've found. The first one is I was able to walk into a lot of these situations because of the gaslighting. I was constantly getting mixed signals about affection and physical touch. Some may touch me, but they would make sure to humiliate me and make me feel like I was undesirable. So as time progresses, I don't recognize attraction. And I exerted one of the defense mechanisms, fight, flight, or freeze, as I expect humiliation. This is where I would also be trying to be trusting that someone touching me wasn't going to end up bad, but it was still misunderstanding the touching. They don't like me. This right here is why I don't like being touched, and I can be very affectionate, um, but it's rare. If you have experienced affection from me and like I initiated it, you are a special individual. Just saying. Uh, that's a trigger, and I don't really know if it's disabled, but I recognize it now. So that's the main importance. So now I want to talk about the pattern that I've noticed, and you may know someone who is experiencing all of these patterns, and you may be able to help them. So I mentioned that I would go through a hoe phase when I'm abandoned, but there's a full pattern to that. It starts in March or April with an abusive or otherwise victimizing event, whether it be financial, sexual, or emotional, and sometimes many at one time. And I commonly meet someone shortly after who kind of grounds me, but as a result of being constantly triggered, I am unable to maintain the relationship. Why? Because they are touching me and I'm expecting humiliation. So it causes me to go through a myriad of fight, flight, and freeze with this individual, which is annoying, I'm sure. So I run them off and am abandoned. As a result of the abandonment, I go into a kind of self discardment and behave promiscuously or otherwise destructive, because sometimes it's just, spending money a little recklessly, or um, having drinking a little too much, or smoking weed a little too much. In this case, when I had to leave the children, starting to use drugs. It's the same thing every time. Okay, I ground again, usually at my own accord, only to experience yet another victimization, and the cycle continues. Obviously, I've gotten out of this, but I guarantee you know someone who displays this pattern. Perhaps only outwardly express the latter two parts. This is because the brain doesn't speak in full sentences. So we're gonna do a little grammar here, because this is how it needs to be broken down, so you can understand why it's so important to understand grammar and spelling. It's very important. Okay, so you, in a sentence structure, you have a subject, verb, and a noun. Okay, this is simple. This is the simplest structure of a sentence, because then you have prepositions, you have um, adverbs, adjectives. You have a whole bunch of different things to a structure of a sentence, but the most simplest form of a sentence is just a basic subject, verb, and a noun. Okay, so we on the outer finish the sentence for the soul. Okay, and then as a society, we have a tendency to finish a sentence for someone else's soul. So that looks like, here's the example. um Ashley is being promiscuous because she is a whore and she is mental. That is what has come out some of your mouths, right? So, or anybody. You always use myself as an example. We're not gonna that way nobody thinks I'm thinking of them when I use other names and stuff like that, right? Ashley is being promiscuous because she is a whore and she is mental. You, as a society, add adjectives and adverbs, descriptive words of a person's experiences. Opinions are beliefs not based on facts but on experiences. So when you're describing someone's experience, you are therefore you are adding your opinion, okay? But opinions are not based on facts but experiences. So how can you, is it possible to have an experience that is supported by facts? Yes. But the only person that can provide that is the person who experienced it. How can you have an opinion about something that you have no facts about or have not experienced? Or perhaps you have experienced, but it's still not your experience. So when you do that, you are actually, the spell is then placed on, Ashley is the subject and the noun. The verb is being. Okay? And promiscuous, whore, and mental are adverbs and adjectives. So they are then describing the state of being for another person. That's why it's very dangerous to do. That's spelling on someone. Okay? The proper statement: Ashley is reacting from a rape and discardment. For myself and my own statement, the mind says Ashley is, the body says reacting, and the soul says from rape and discardment. The word from indicates the point in space at which a journey, motion, or action starts, or a point in time at which a particular process, event, or activity starts. Rape is a noun in this sentence. The noun is a word that describes a place, thing, or animal. So there are not any descriptions here. just facts. It does not describe Ashley's fiber of being, just the experience and the action taken. Um, and the noun is provided by the soul, the subconscious of Ashley. You can't hold an opinion, but you do. And because of that, you unfairly criticize others, you denigrate them. Remember that that is also a spectrum and remains true no matter where someone lands on that spectrum. So somebody will be like, well, so and so was raped and they don't behave that way. You can't do that. You can't do that. So and so is acting like they're acting because same reason. Everybody is different and behaves and it is different in how they respond. Okay, so that was a really weird. That was like literally given to me. I had to do a whole bunch of studying on that one. Took a while. Anyway. um, I lost my spot. I forgot. Hold on. Oh my gosh. This is why. This is why I be getting messed up on my shit. I need glasses. Okay. I'm old now. I'm old now. Probably because of. Oh God. Okay. Anyway, moving on. I'm sorry. Okay. Hold on. I don't. I actually do know why. Okay. Okay. So, you know someone that behaves this way, that is the missing link to their behavior, likely. Remember that everything does have a spectrum. This may not be the direct route. Some people very well may be born with this pathology. Um, but I know most aren't. Also, this right here is exactly what rape culture is. The narcissistic paradigm causes rape culture. There's so many things that it causes, okay, and negative things that come out of this. A lot of stuff goes unnoticed. Even though that woman told me that I was assaulted, um, and though I thought on it, it still didn't compute until much later and was reinforced when the Me Too movement went viral in 2017. And I was able to have more information. I was still experiencing traumas that kept me on the programming of not investigating or studying because I had already been conditioned. Someone who is conditioned needs a lot of reinforcement. You cannot tell most people one time and expect them to understand or believe what's been said and change their ways, and that's obvious because some of those events that I experienced between Natanya's father paralleled with others, I still felt that he was nice and still continued with sexual activity with him a month later to conceive my daughter. So, for some of your friends out there, they don't get it. It still doesn't compute. They have not been properly socialized or educated to understand that they have been victimized. For some of your friends out there, it's been their reality since they were small. It's normal. Then you have the added touch of being a victim in society is undesirable. Okay? So we get into people calling people who have been victimized, playing the victim, having a victim mentality. Saying you're a victim is shameful and disgusting and your fault. So a lot of people shy away from saying they have been victimized. And the less people that speak up about being victimized, the less people are educated about their safety and have the proper knowledge surrounding their experiences. There's that missing link, the proper noun in the sentence that sums up a person's life experience. So the things that I'm trying to heal, as a result of all of this, I do not stand as confidently as I am when there's too many men present. I have severe trust issues, very severe. You know the saying, if you weren't there for me at my worst, you don't deserve to be there at my best. You know that? Yeah, my worst just came and went. Where were you? In opposition and conflict and judgment in my fucking business. I get it. You see me now. I'm not even at my best yet, but the worst has passed already before you saw me. And because of that, I really don't see us working out as friends, dog. I'm serious though. Okay? So, that's a very scary place to be mentally. It's it's scary because if I can't trust, then how would I then be able to connect or be in a relationship or get close enough for someone to love me back? That is equally as scary as the result, which is lifelong solitude. Being loved versus being unloved are complete opposites, but equally terrifying. Um, so every time I look around, people claim they're in love or love someone, but there's very few stories of the real thing, and someone always had something to gain from it. So some of you have never been loved properly at all. Some of you have but could not recognize it because of this pattern, And then I'm like, okay, what if I don't like it and I'm actually a glutton for punishment now? There's so many things that go on up here. Oh god. Oh goodness. Oh my god. So, you know, those are some of the things that I'm still dealing with. But, the first part of the process of healing is recognizing them so that you can properly work on them. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, that is what I have worked on since the new moon. I hope you guys have a wonderful full moon coming up here in like 2 days. Bro, excuse me, Aubrey Graham, you better stop it, boy. You've been working a little too hard. I would say that that last new moon reading, I had said something about workaholics, and then you had your little deep fake with Howard Stern. Dear, you ain't ever gonna find Miss Right if you are a fucking addicted to work. I'm just saying, and that shit did come up in my cards, so it's kind of funny that you said that. Whether, I mean, all comedy has a root of honesty, right? So that would probably be what I have to say about that. But you have y'all have a wonderful evening.